You do? Yeah, I'm supposed to. You're not.
I will call the Cookeville City Council meeting for Thursday, August 7th to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Baji. Here. Councilman Walker. Here. Mayor Wheaton.
Here.
Vice Mayor Eldridge. Here. Councilman Gilbert. Here. Vice President.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask those that wish to do so to stand for the invocation given tonight by Vice Mayor Eldridge, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. Father, we come to you in Jesus' name. Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for tonight. Father, I ask that you give us wisdom, you give us insight and everything that we need to do. Bless the people that have come out tonight, or they've come out to share their heart and their knowledge. And Father, I ask that you give us attentive ears. Lord, I thank you for what we do and what this community represents. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Item 3, consider approval of agenda as presented. Are there any changes?
Yes, Mayor, we have two changes. The first is adding item 6M, which is consider awarding bid for advanced metering infrastructure, meters and components for the Water Quality Control Department. Then also ask you to add item 9A, which is receive report of city manager evaluation by city attorney.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on the agenda as amended?
So move.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge,
Second.
seconded by Councilman Walker. Any discussion from the council? Okay, although, go ahead and take a vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 5A, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held on July 17th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Baji, seconded by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Any discussion from the council on this item? Okay, go ahead and take a vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. For our lengthy consent agenda, 6A, set a date, 9/4/25 for a public hearing on ordinance O25-0610, amendment to the zoning code to remove drive-through restaurants as a permit use within the CN Neighborhood Commercial District. 6B, set a date, 9/4/25 for a public hearing on ordinance O25-0812, rezoning property located at 1630 Blackwell Road, tax map 83, parcel 75.00, from LM Light Manufacturing to CI Commercial Industrial Use. 6C, set a date, 9/4/25, for a public hearing on ordinance O25-0813, rezoning property located at 2034 West Broad Street, portion of tax map 39, parcel 205.00, from CI Commercial Industrial Mixed Use to CL Local Commercial. 6D, set a date, 9/4/25 for a public hearing on ordinance O25-0814, authorizing a public street access point on Tennessee Avenue for properties located north of Nashville Eastern Railroad, and authorizing a public street access point on Tennessee Avenue for the Putnam County Fairgrounds and proposed Putnam County Bus Garage and Highway Department. 6E, consider approval to purchase Juniper Network equipment utilizing the our OMNIA Partners Purchasing Cooperative Contract. 6F, consider declaring a surplus miscellaneous vehicles and equipment. 6G, consider approval to purchase one Mack front load truck utilizing the Sourcewell Purchasing Contract 110223 NWY and 032824 Mack. 6H, consider awarding bid for two 150 KVA pad transformers. 6I, consider approval to purchase one mini skid steer utilizing the Sourcewell Purchasing Contract 010925 BRM. 6J, consider approval to purchase underground equipment van utilizing the Sourcewell Purchasing Contract 120721 RVL. 6K, consider approval to pay tariff charges on gas meters approved by Council 4/17/2025. 6L, consider approval to purchase one 2026 F-750 vacuum truck utilizing the Sourcewell Purchasing Contract 101221 RGO. And 6M, consider awarding bid for advanced metering infrastructure meters and components. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge. Is there a second?
Mayor,
Yes.
point of order may need to be before or after the motion, I'm not sure, but I am a related party to C and D,
Thank you.
and Danny,
Those are just set of dates, and so all you're doing is scheduling a public hearing. You're not voting on any substance of any of these items tonight, so it's fine for you to vote on the consent agenda.
Thank you for that. So we've got a motion made by Vice Mayor Eldridge on the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Baji. Any discussion from the council? Thank you, Councilman Gilbert, for letting us know that. We'll do that on the 4th. Any more discussion? Okay, I'll vote on the consent agenda.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. On to new business. 7A, hold a public hearing and consider on first reading ordinance 025-711, the rezoning of property located on Bill Smith Road, tax map 065, parcel 20.00 from RS20, single family residential to RS10, single family residential. Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Here is a general location map of the property under consideration for rezoning on Bill Smith Road. Here is a site map of that parcel. Here we have an aerial view. This is our existing zoning. The subject property consists of approximately 3.68 acres. The rezoning request, including street right-of-way, contains approximately 3.86 acres. The property is currently a vacant tract. The application for rezoning stated the request is to build a subdivision, and they have entered into a cost share agreement with the city to extend sewer to the subject property. The property is not currently served by sanitary sewer service. In June 2024, the Cookeville City Council approved a cost share agreement with Mr. Donnie Meadows to extend sewer to the subject property. The sewer project would provide sewer service to 34 parcels along Bill Smith Road, including the property under consideration for rezoning. The total estimated cost of the project at that time was $344,000. Bids for the projects were scheduled to be opened on June 24, 2025. Water Quality Control has issued addendums to that bid, and the opening has been postponed at this time. The request to rezone a 1.5 acre lot on Bill Smith Road from RS10 to RS5 was approved by the Planning Commission in October 2023. You can see that on that right side of your screen, that strip along Bill Smith Road on the west side there across from the RM8. This was approved in October 2023 and approved by the City Council in October 2003 and approved by the City Council in December 2003. The Planning Commission meeting record for the October 2003 meeting included that both the RS10 and RS5 zoning districts both primarily allowed single-family residential development only. The property dimension and TVA easements were also points that were included in the 2003 meeting record. The October 2003 meeting record also noted that rezoning would allow subdivision density to increase from 5 lots to 8 lots for an increase of 3 lots. The RS20 district is intended to provide a low-density, single-family residential environment where in areas where public wastewater services are not available. The RS10 district is intended to provide a low to moderate density, single-family residential environment in areas where public wastewater services are available. The developer submitted the request to rezone this property to RS5 initially. At our public hearing held by the Planning Commission, the developer said that he would be happy with RS10 zoning for the property, and the Planning Commission offered that as a compromise in density on this request. 3 concept plans were provided with the rezoning request depicting densities at RS5, RS7.5, and RS10. We're now considering RS10 for this property, and that concept included 12 lots. And this is shown on your screen, the concept, but this is strictly concept. This isn't an engineered drawing and hasn't been reviewed to meet the standards. It was just a conceptual. Bill Smith Road is classified as a major collector street. An analysis of current traffic counts on Bill Smith indicate an average daily traffic east of Holiday Road of 2,318 vehicles per day in 2025. TDOT maintains a traffic count on Bill Smith Road just north of West Oak Drive with an ADT of 2,529 vehicles per day in 2024. The ADT on Bill Smith Road north of Foreman Drive was 2,685 vehicles per day in 2024. So for comparison, another major collector street with similar characteristics, South Maple Avenue, south of Interstate 40, had an ADT of 5,163 vehicles per day in February of 2025. The Cookeville Police Department reports that excluding intersections, a total of 10 accidents have occurred along Bill Smith Road since 2020, with only one involving 2 vehicles. Based on this data, current traffic volumes and accident history do not indicate conditions warranting concern on this segment of Bill Smith. I do want to note to the council, the Planning Division provides notification to residents in the area where rezoning application is submitted. The notification provided in advance of the Planning Commission meeting was issued in error. Upon learning of that mistake, the Planning Division provided another notification of the rezoning to the area residents in advance of the council public hearing, correcting that error that we had made in notification. And that's where we go above and beyond what the minimum notification requirements are. Our future land use plan designates the subject property as best suited for lower density residential development. RS10 zoning is compliant with that future land use zoning designation. Here's some topography maps. This property does slope it's down from west to east. And a natural factors map shows a wet weather conveyance that does traverse the property. It's important to note that any development on this property would have to meet all established standards and requirements for development in the city. Here's some views taken from our drone showing that's looking back to the north off Bill Smith. Looking back to the northeast, and that's looking southeast. So policies from the Cookeville 2030 plan provide that to accommodate anticipated growth, significant portions of land of the land area annexed since 2000 will have to be rezoned when the appropriate infrastructure is provided. A sewer extension to this area would justify an increase in density from the current zoning designation. So our recommendation, as the Planning Commission recommended to rezone this parcel to RS10, as recommended by the Planning Division. I'm happy to answer any questions the council would have on this.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to open, I'm going to need a motion. Do I have a motion to open up the public hearing for 7A? Motion made by Councilman Baji. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Eldridge. So at this time, we will open up the public hearing portion for this agenda item. All those who wish to speak may come up here to the podium. A few housekeeping rules. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. We have a timer. They'll let you know when to wrap up your comments. We try to answer, if there's some general questions, but isn't so much of a, back and forth discussion. And if you'll state your name and whether you live in the city or county, please.
My name is James Lutz. I live at 1000 Holiday Road. That's the corner of Bill Smith and Holiday too. But I can see the property from my house, to quote a certain governor. We all know that Cookeville's growing. New houses need to be built. I think we're all for that. We bought our homes knowing that our future builds would follow the same rules as our property, and new homes would be added under the RS20 zoning in our neighborhood. And that has happened. And all those houses look great. They fit into the neighborhood. What we don't want is to change the zoning for that one spot so a dozen or more homes can be jammed in there. It was bought under RS20. The purchaser knew it was RS20. I don't understand why they can't build under the RS20 zoning like the rest of the neighborhood has. And as far as the sewer goes, nobody I know wants the sewer. The sewer ends at the top of Bill Smith and then about 200 feet from my property up Holiday. Because the topography is so odd, it doesn't flow. So they'll have to install pumpers and grinders and mechanical stuff. And so as far as I know, nobody wants to connect to it, but we're going to have to pay a monthly fee for it, whether we're connected or not. And I think people are very happy about that. Now, my last point, in 1995, trucks started dumping waste on that property. I personally saw over a period of about 10 years, stumps, logs, drywall, concrete, metal barrels, full or empty, I don't know, dirt and other debris dumped. So I have two things to ask. Do you think it's safe to put a dozen homes on that land? I'm not sure it is. I don't think I would build my house there. And how would you feel if someone was all of a sudden putting up a dozen homes on the empty lot in the middle of your established neighborhood? I don't think it would be pleasant. And everybody in the neighborhood is very against this. So that's all. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Luke Haddon, 995 Bill Smith Road. I'm going to keep this short. Many of you know where myself and my wife stand. I've sent you plenty of emails in the last month, so I appreciate your receptiveness to that. To make a public record, I plan to briefly discuss the concerns and oppositions of our neighborhood towards this rezoning. We've been told repeatedly that in the 2030 Cookeville Development Plan, all lots that have access to sewer are eligible to be rezoned at a minimum of RS5. I took the time to read the 190-page document, and I'm having trouble extrapolating that from the text. It does call for responsible expansion into the annexed areas and developing subdivisions fitting with the adjacent neighborhood homes, which we are also in support of. For Bill Smith Road, that means single-family homes on 1 acre lots. This is exactly, this proposed zoning is spot zoning and sets a precedence that allows for careless placement of new development moving westward. There are significant unanswered questions concerning the stability of the zoning districts, as well as the basis of this rezoning proposal is evident of that. Due to the lack of current accessibility to sanitary sewer and the inability to Mr. Meadows was able to purchase this lot for nearly half the current value of land per acre within city limits. RS10 is conveniently the largest possible lot size that necessitates sewer while maximizing Mr. Meadows' return on his investment. As Mr. Ward just said, RS10 is low density, but in section 212 of the zoning code, it's intended to provide a low to moderate density single family environment where public wastewater services are currently available. They are not currently available. And I understand that we have an agreement, but at this time, we do not have sewer. Section 210 refers to the current zoning of RS20 as having the potential for sewer access while maintaining lot specifications. Again, this proposed zoning is not fitting for our neighborhood. Also, according to zoning code, the proposed change would permit setbacks that are nearly half of RS20 or worse, 0 lot lines. The presented plat pushes the limits of all these setbacks, which forces the proposal to the medium side of the low to medium density. And according to the zoning code, this could open the door to assisted living facilities, bed and breakfast upon appeal. While these examples are not what's being planned here, the decision tonight again will set a precedent for future rezoning hearings. Our greatest concern is the safety and feasibility of placing a medium density residential lot in the middle of nearly 200 low density lots on a narrow road in the middle of a blind curve and on a hill. Again, what's proposed is spot zoning and will place a single lot with different regulations than the surrounding area and does not fit the overall structure of our neighborhood. One aspect that most of you here are not privy to is the detrimental environmental concerns of the lot. There's roughly, I shot this with a digital hypsometer, which measures height. There's 35 feet of fill dirt on top of the presented blue line stream. This is not a subsurface stream is presented. I'm almost done, I promise.
You're fine.
As presented, this is a subterranean flowing stream that carries runoff onto our property 24/7, 365. This has created a small wetland where cattails now grow. The lot is in a constant state of erosion, and in order to remediate this, substantial dirt work and permitting must be done. As Mr. Lott said, over the last 4 decades, fill has been dumped without consideration to compaction. The 2018 International Building Code calls for very specific conditions of fill dirt prior to construction. Simply placing homes that are trucked in on top of poured footers placed on uncompacted fill is careless towards future buyers and is not responsible to city development. I'm almost done. 2 more paragraphs, I promise. Some of the neighbors couldn't be here tonight, but have made their opposition to known. We currently have a petition ongoing that has over 115 signatures, but there are those in attendance that are not comfortable with standing up to voice their opinion. If you're here, please raise your hand. We hope that you as city council will represent the best interests of the neighborhood and the future of the city, not just a developer's goal to make a dollar today. Our concerns are site-specific, but we fear that this decision will also set a precedent to convert family farms, the subdivisions from Willow to Tennessee Avenue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me speak. My name is Susan Castle and I own 1076 Bill Smith Road. It is clear that the neighborhood does not want this rezoning. It sets an unwelcome precedent. Other large parcel owners and small retiring farmers would rightly anticipate that their properties would also be eligible for RS10 zoning. They too would have the expectation that they should also reap the financial benefit that rezoning can offer. This could potentially change the character of West Cookeville in its entirety and the Bill Smith neighborhood specifically. It would completely change the rural character and appearance of the community. Further, those of us who purchased homes in the area under RS20 zoning are now confronted with a sort of bait and switch. We purchased under one zoning plan, and now it is being upzoned to RS10. Despite Mr. Ward's comments about traffic being appropriate for that size road, I would beg to differ. That road is busy and dangerous, and it's a shortcut from the interstate by people that live west of Cookeville. Rush hour is a nightmare on that road. Homeowners have difficulty backing out of their driveways without risking collision. Cars are driving over the speed limit on that road, and sightlines are compromised because of dips and bends in the road. It is agreed amongst us all that we have no problem with Mr. Meadows developing the Bill Smith parcel. We only ask that he build it out under the same zoning standards as the rest of us did. Most properties on Bill Smith are approximately 3/4 to 1 acre in size. Some are bigger. The larger size of the lots lends a rural character to the neighborhood. This is a characteristic that we all value. This isn't, this upzoning to RS10 is not providing more affordable housing. And on the contrary, Mr. Meadows intends to sell these properties for $350,000 each. And this will most definitely impact the quality of life for Bill Smith residents, and the upzoning is short-sighted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, y'all. I'm Christian Kazmark. I live at 1040 Bill Smith Road, which is right across the street from this development. I do not believe the traffic numbers up here were correct. I saw that on a few of them. He had specific months picked out throughout the year, and that's unfair. For people who live there every day, I back into my driveway every day. The reason maybe traffic is not causing accidents is because we have to be extremely careful. And we can see that every day by how fast people drive, how many people are coming down that road at all times. We know we have to be careful, and it's if you bring in people who don't know that road like that those things will definitely change. As of right now, from my understanding, he could build 6 of these buildings already. I don't understand why that is just being thrown to the side and asking for more. When he himself said at the last meeting that he's gonna sell these from $300,000 to $350,000. But six in there, that's a considerable profit for him. And he's the one who wants the sewer brought in, but yet he's not the one living in this area. He's not gonna feel the pain that we all who live in this community are gonna have to feel and now pay for something that we may not even be utilizing. And hasn't been brought into just now. So when somebody wants to make money in the area, now the sewer comes in, it doesn't make sense to us, and we find that incredibly unfair. Also, lastly, I don't believe that lot is safe. I just don't. I mean, I live right across from it, and when there's light drizzles, there is a flow of water going down that gully down to a significant drop. It's not a safe location for residents, but as of right now, he's already allowed to build 6. I think that should be considered, especially for how many people are showing up to speak about this. This is our community. We love this community, and we just want to see the best for everyone. But 6 is still plenty. He'll be making the money he wants to make. We'll bring more affordable housing to that area, and hopefully traffic will not be affected by just the 6, but traffic's also a problem. It's very much a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to speak? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing portion. Do you have any discussion from the council?
John, I just wanted you to touch base on spot zoning on that track, kind of help us understand.
Well, it's RS to RS, right? So those districts only predominantly allow, the uses are predominantly single family detached development, right? So that has been interpreted as not a spot zoning issue. When you have RS districts to RS districts. Now, if it were being rezoned to CL or, industrial or some commercial or industrial designation, that would be interpreted as spot zoning, but not differences in the RS zones.
It's a change in density, not a change in use. So there's no spot zoning unless there's a change in use.
And then on the sewer, and Barry may be better equipped to answer this, but can you walk us through the sewer promises to that area and where we are with that?
There was a cost share that council approved in 2024 to sewer this area. That's a common way that sewer is extended in the city limits to some unserved areas, right? I mean, it's common to extend sewer services through cost shares with developments. The city has done that in numerous instances, numerous examples citywide. As far as specifics to that, I know that it was originally scheduled for bid opening in June, but that was, they've issued addendums and postponed at this point to get more information, or, I'd have to defer to Barry on that.
So the future land use plan in our 2030 plan actually has this entire area as RS10, correct?
It has it as lower density residential, and the RS10 district is interpreted as low to moderate. So low is compliant there. And we have established that in precedent many times throughout this city, is that RS10 zoning is an appropriate zoning designation where the infrastructure, where sewer infrastructure is provided.
Also, the condition, the topology of the lot, the environmental factors, all of these things have to be addressed.
If there are issues there, that would be at a next step, right? I mean, you don't engineer a development, they're asking, the petitioner has petitioned to rezone to take the next steps toward developing the property, which would require engineering analysis, which would require geotechnical studies if applicable. I believe from all the comments we've heard, that would be an applicable thing to look into, but we have standards for stormwater requirements for, properties. I don't necessarily know the history of that property myself, but it would have to meet our requirements and standards.
So just because of that, even though he may want 12 or so out there, all that comes back, he could end up with six.
You can mitigate things with, things can be mitigated with enough investment, right? So it would be up to however that worked out. But
There are standards he has.
But there are standards you would have to meet throughout that process, right? This is RS10. It's not, a super high dense zoning district, right? I mean, he initially asked for RS5 there, and we've, seen that as a an appropriate zoning designation in the city to try to provide affordable housing, to try to look into providing housing options due to the pressure we have on our housing market.
I'm sorry, sir, but 12 buildings in that area, that is density. I mean, wouldn't you all consider that density in?
Do you want to come make a statement or anything like that? Okay.
I don't want to take that.
Any more discussion from council? Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we've got a motion and a second. We've had the public hearing portion, so we will go ahead and take the vote on this agenda item.
Votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 7B, consider approval of a change order to the construction contract with Steel Hill Building Groups to replace rock and repair and stabilize the pad on which the pickleball courts are being constructed and to extend the project completion date. Mr. Woods.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. As you know, we've had some delays in our construction of our pickleball courts at King Creek Park. And this change order, we've resolved many of those issues. This change order addresses that and would get us back to working again on this project and get it completed. This is a change order to, and I want to say thank you also to Public Works and their involvement and their work on this, because that's helped move along this project and get it to the point that we're at tonight. So this is a change order that would help us stabilize the pad by doing some undercutting and bringing in new materials. It's a change order in the amount of $42,698.15. It also adds 103 days to the original contract. That puts us at a point where the project would resume work after mobilization by the contractor, resume work on August 21st and be completed by the middle of October. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have, but I would recommend and request your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Motion made by Councilman Baji, seconded by Councilman Walker. Any discussion from the public? Discussion from council?
I'd just like to say good work at the city for jumping in here and getting this job done. Good job.
Trying to get it done.
I know this is always difficult, but I can see the city working hard together to make sure this goes through. And
And to make sure it's done right.
Yes, it's done well with high quality, and so we can have great pickleball to be played.
Go with speed.
All right, we got to.
Don't step in the kitchen.
Oh, no. That's,
Don't worry.
no.
That's football.
Don't worry.
Oh, we got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, I'll vote.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you. At this time, that concludes the agenda portion of the meeting. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the council on any non-agenda items? Seeing none, we will close that. We do have item 9A, receive report of city manager evaluations by the city attorney.
Mayor and council, as you all know from previous years, our law firm has assisted the city in performing an evaluation of the city manager about once a year. Our firm has done that for other governmental entities around this area. The process involves a questionnaire that each of the council confidentially reviews and fills out and rates the city manager. I'm very pleased to report that that process has been completed for the 2025 year. I'm very pleased to report that the city manager's evaluation is quite frankly excellent. His rating as assigned by you all, the council and the mayor, is 4.93. That includes an excellent result for council relationship, community relationships, staff and personal relationships, leadership, strategic planning skills, and most particularly, the city manager received a perfect score with respect to business and finance. I am told, I've only been practicing in this community for, I don't know, 18 years or so, but it's my understanding that my father, who's been doing it even longer, This is the best rating that anyone has ever gotten in the history of our law firm doing these ratings, both for this entity and other governmental entities. By any measure, this is an excellent evaluation. You all have spoken, and the city manager appears, in your opinion, to be doing a very excellent job. And so 4.93 is the rating. That equates to, I think, 98.6%. So it's as close to perfect as we've seen.
Thank you very much for that. And as a council, we are happy to receive that. We can all make comments, but I first want to say that in recognition of a perfect score in one area and such a high rating, that we as a council want to recognize Mr. Mills for all his hard work and the fact that we could not do this without you. So as all of our employees get merit-based raises, you are one of those as well. And so we would like to recognize you with a 5% raise, merit-based raise, to say thank you for all your hard work. It's still not enough, but we so appreciate you, and I hope that it shows. So any other comments from council? I made a motion. So now I need a second. Got a second from Councilman Baji. Now we can open up discussion to talk about that.
I'll start with just saying that, I feel fortunate to work with this group and with you firsthand. And I think the results speak for themselves. All the things that we have accomplished, all the work that we have going, the projects we have, and our financial position. I can't imagine it being much better. And you're a big part of that. And a hearty thank you for that.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Alden.
I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. City of Cookeville is in a very good spot. We're a healthy community financially. Our growth is responsible growth. We're investing in infrastructure, and all that couldn't be done without leadership and your guidance and your advice and your institutional knowledge that you bring as well with the number of years that you've been with the City of Cookeville.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you and everybody else as well, but the standard you have and the morals you have, that's hard to find in somebody leading. And so I truly appreciate your stance, your morals, your values, you're a good man. And we appreciate that.
James, you've done a great job. I think that we were given a very well-rounded and in-depth criteria to evaluate James on. And I would like to thank city attorneys for helping us with that. And I think that you were highly scrutinized in this, but I think your record shows that you are a great city manager. And on a personal note, I'd just like to say that the city of Cookeville is very fortunate to have you as a city manager representing them. And I know in all of my discussions with you that you have always put the people of Cookeville first. And I think that's an important thing to have representing and leading the people of Cookeville in your position.
We've been together, 6 years now? And let me say, we cannot, no one on this council can do this job without you. You are just a vital role, vital part of what we do every day. And I don't think people realize how much you do. I mean, we can text you at 10 o'clock at night with some random question from Chad, and you are there to answer it. Again, we could not do this without you, and we are so appreciative of you. And yeah, like I said, it's great leadership that has put us in such a wonderful position in Cookeville. So thank you.
He answers emails at 4 a.m.
But you're sending them at 3.
If I could, I'm really blown away by all the really kind words. And I do want to say that, I consider it a blessing to work for the city of Cookeville. I care about this community, but I thank God every day that I have the ability to come in here and work for this city. But it's not me. It's all the people that work for the city, all the directors, which a lot of them are here tonight. They make my job a pleasure most of the time. Sometimes Mary Beth, it's pretty tough. She's got a lot going on. They all do. But, to have a team like I've got, but more particularly to work for a council like you guys, I know you guys have the same passion for the city of Cookeville as I do and care about this city. And it really makes my job a pleasure most of the time. But, gosh, I'm blown away by the kind words and very, very much appreciated. And once you know, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. I've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? So we'll go ahead and take a vote on that, correct? Okay.
All votes correct. 5 yes, motion carries.
Thank you for that. I do want to make some comments. As most of y'all know, our city cemetery was, I don't even know I get vandalized, over the last week, and an incident that I don't think any of us ever expected to happen. I certainly did not. I've said before, cemetery is a sacred place. And that respect and trust was taken away from the family members and those who have led their loved ones there. So I do want to take a moment to thank some community members. With an event like this that happened, that was an unfortunate event, we saw our community come together, and particularly we had Mr. Jimmy Dixon from Ameristone Stone and Eric Vaughn from Vaughn's Monument, who both donated their time, their materials to come fix those at no cost to us. So we want to say a special thank you to them for coming out and to repair those headstones. Again, in an unfortunate situation, we saw some wonderful things happen in our community. I do want to announce that, there was an arrest made. It was a juvenile that was found out who did this. And so the police are handling that and the rest of that investigation. So thank you to Jimmy Dixon and to Eric Vaughn for coming forward and helping out with that. And for our police who did extra patrol in that area, we just really appreciate the community coming together and showing their respect for that area. So anything else?
On that same note too, didn't we add some additional lighting in that area as well?
Yeah, we've, Mr. Haynes here, but we've added to the lights along the street on Scott and where the Dairy Queen parking lot, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, turn some lights to face onto the cemetery to hopefully light it up a little more. We're also exploring about the possibility, working with Mr. Woods and Chad, to get some decorative lighting within the cemetery itself to help hopefully discourage anything like this happening again in the future. But the lights have already been installed along the perimeter, and we're working towards the decorative lights. And thanks, Ollie, for reminding me of that.
Any other comments from the council? Okay, meeting is adjourned.